Hey, thanks for joining me. George Bruno here, also known as the Sultan of Silver. You're joining me tonight for a little bit of ginger ale mixed with a little bit of bullet and an acid cigar. I'm normally a pipe guy. I started out with cigars many years ago, but I'm not an inhaler. Let me just really good. Actually my first cigar of the summer. Cheers to the beard. For the guys that chose not to shave it off for the summer, it's not that hot. Shields your face from the sun, gives you about 95 sun protection factor, wicks away moisture, air blowing by cools the face, evaporative cooling. It's my day off today. Got a lot of work to do. I do a lot of writing when I'm not working. I published a book, I don't know, maybe 12 years ago, and really didn't promote it, and I'm just starting to promote it now, and it's on how to sell artwork. Being a salesperson, a communicator, a speaker, as well as a hair professional. It's funny watching these birds here. They're wondering, who the heck is that? And they're like talking to me too, it's funny. Anyways, I reformatted the book. I'm going to be selling it soon, hopefully, and making videos like I'm making the beard videos as well. Nothing like a good cigar, a mild drink, sitting on your back deck, on your day off, contemplating. In no hurry. You know, I'm in no hurry to be around people. I work with people all week long. The last thing I want to do is be around a lot of noise and people on my days off. I find myself turning off the TV and actually just doing work quietly. No radio, no television, no nothing. Check my email, make a video or two. I don't have an audience that I can see anyways. It's kind of like what I'm interested in on my days off. I'm going to be making an instructional video on C curls, S curls, and coils, the way that hair grows. And it's going to be done on a whiteboard, instructionally. You haven't seen me do this yet. Beard hair grows in a C, then an S. Some hair grows three-dimensionally in a coil with different ethnicities. My beard is straight and very, very one-dimensional. It literally, if I plucked a piece of hair out, it would lay flat on the table. Some hair, if you plucked it from their face off some people and you put it on the table, it would look like a spring. That's the hardest hair to straighten out, and that's the hair that you don't want to straighten out. When you have a mild curl, straightening hair is easy. My hair used to be curly, very kinky. As I got older, as I lost the pigment, the curl left and it's now straight. Literally, when I'm brushing and I shed any hair, it's 5 to 6 inches long, white with a slight S curl, maybe a double S at that point. You can see right here, and I'm going to show this in the instructional video. You can kind of see the S, and depending on how the bottom of the S is growing, that'll determine whether you have a split at the bottom of your beard. I know when the S on both sides of my chin was going away, I had this very visible split, and I was always combing it together, let it roll, and then I just had to wait 2 months for it to come back around, and then it was all kind of coming together. I tend to like a more shaped beard, the bottom shaped, as opposed to coming to a point, like a lot of my favorite guys have what I would call like a wizard Gandalf kind of beard. That's not my vibe, and it's 100% natural, and I love natural. I love all beards, as you know. I don't care if it's Bob Cigars or Ronnie Van Zant's beard, and they hardly have beards, very sparse, but it's a beard. And all beardsmen get my respect. Do you like the acid cigars? It's not a regular. For me, I'm a Ashton guy, Arturo Fuente. I like Rocky Patel, Vintage 99, great smell. Nubs, I like nubs. The really short ones are like 3 inches, and they're like a 60 ring size. Now, the acid cigars are the only ones that I actually like the aroma in my beard. Other cigars don't impart a great smell to a beard. So that's something you got to keep in mind. That's why I like pipes. Pipes always make my beard smell great. Like vanilla, tapioca, cherry, peach cobbler, that kind of stuff. Or with some of the English blends, it's more of a smoky bonfire kind of thing. So it's like a whiskey, bonfire, pine, cedar kind of thing, and I love that. Now my roommate's gone for the summer. I sit out in the back deck, and I pretty much have everything to myself. It's nice, it's quiet here. I only blast music while I'm getting ready in the morning, and it's usually stuff like Skynyrd, Eagles, Marshall Tucker Band, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, Hendrix, Zeppelin, of course, sometimes Sabbath. I tend to like that kind of stuff, although I am a country music guy as well. I was born and raised on country music. Literally, the first albums that I remember ever, believe it or not, were Buck Owens and Fats Domino. And then, and I'm going back to like when I was like 3 years old. I remember seeing my dad's albums. My dad plays bluegrass in Central Florida. He's a professional bluegrass player. He also cut hair, one of the finest stylists I've ever known. But he plays in a band, and he's darn good. If you like mandolin, you got to seek out my dad. He's incredible. He's played with the biggest names. When it comes to cigars, I like my ash to get just about an inch, and then I'll flick it off. I'm not one of these guys that takes a puff and then just like flicks off the ash all the time. I kind of like that. It preserves the heat. And to me, it kind of keeps the oils more fragrant that are burning. It's that time of day, you know, that time of day where everything is like really bright, like the green on the trees is very, very bright. It's almost like fluorescent. It's glowing right now. It's that interesting time of day. The birds are out. I get up every morning. I change the water in the bird feeder. In the bird bath. I change the food in the bird feeders. If a suet block is needed, I do that. I feed the cats. I have cats, inside and outside cats. I rescue animals. It's almost like a little wildlife sanctuary here that I really love. I tend to like the bourbons that mix well. This is Seagram's ginger ale mixed with Bullet. I really enjoy this. It's a great combo. It's not too strong. It's about a shot and a half in a pint glass and then halfway filled with the ginger ale. It's perfect for me. As far as like my shots are concerned, I like my Woodford Reserve and my Jefferson, Sinatra Select, that kind of stuff, those kind of whiskeys, bourbons. Let me tell you a little story. I'll never forget having a cigar with my dad, because you can't hurry a cigar. You can hurry a cigarette, and I'm not a cigarette smoker. This was the neat thing. I got cigars for me and my dad. We're down in Florida. I mixed a few drinks. No, actually, he mixed the drinks, I got the cigars. And we were out on his back patio, screened in, obviously, from mosquitoes. Down in Florida, everyone's got the screened-in patios. Talking with my dad about life. You know how you turn out the lights in Florida just so you're not attracting bugs and mosquitoes? See that? Now it's time to flick that a little bit. You know, just let it naturally break off. You turn off the spotlights in the backyard so you're not attracting bugs. So it was completely dark. And me and my dad are talking, and this is priceless. I tell this story in one of my books. And we were both smoking cigars, and if you're in the dark, whenever you puff on a cigar, the end of the cigar, the ember, glows brighter. And I just remember there was several periods of silence, and I would see my dad, who's only 5 or 6 feet away from me, I would see the ember getting redder, and I would hear the ice jingling in the glass as he was taking a sip, and that is burnt in my memory someday, and I hope to do that with my sons someday. I don't want my sons to be alcoholics or obsessive smokers, but to enjoy the finer things of life. Things where you have to slow down, things where you have to think. I ponder the day. This is a 45-minute cigar. You can't hurry this. If you do, it tastes horrible. And talking with my dad, and here I am, closer to 60 than I am to 50. My dad is 80. And knowing that he's not going to be around forever kills me if I think about that. Those of you that still have your dads, love him up, man. You might have gone through tough times, love your dad. Those of you that don't have your dads here, you know what I'm talking about. You miss them, and you wish you could have a drink and a cigar with them. But I'll never forget that and at that moment, and this was probably, I was in my 40s, maybe around, it was about 20 years ago, 15 to 20 years ago. And I will never forget, at that moment, at that point in the evening, I went from son, father and son, to friend to friend. At that moment, I felt like my dad was my friend. And it took me decades to get to the point where I could say my dad is my friend. And I can't wait to get to that point with my kids. It gets me very emotional. I love these birds, man. It's funny, I'm coming out and they're all joining me. It's so funny. It's okay, I'll feed you soon, don't worry. But I can't wait to get to the point where my boys, I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. The girl's the oldest. And I can't wait to be able to sit down as a friend with my sons. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Blows my mind just to think about that, because it was a moment that I will never forget with my own dad, who is still living at 80 years old and doing well. Cuts hair every day, 5-6 heads a day, plays professionally in a band, travels. He's in great shape. He beat cancer a couple times. Tough guy. United States Marine. Good guy. Good guy. Tough. A little rough around the edges. Those edges got softer as he got older. He was hard on me as a kid, man. Growing up. God, he was tough. He was tough on me right up until I was 40. He was so hard on me. Even to this day, when I call him on the phone, I talk to my parents every day. He's a little rough on me, you know? And I'm not afraid to say, you know, back off a little bit, Dad. It's all right, you know. We don't have to argue. We don't have to, you know. And I have a nice talk with him. And I hope to get down there in Florida sometime this summer to see him again. I cut his hair last fall. Came up to the Philly area and cut his hair. And we shared a drink, and I smoked a pipe, and love your dad, love your mom. If they're living, doesn't matter if you're estranged, I encourage you to reach out to them. You want to blow their mind, tell them you love them. I'm not from a big I love you family. We're not like, you know, love you. We just never did that. So when we do it, it's very special. It's not just mere empty words. It truly is a special moment when it's almost like we have a block, like our lips are sewn shut, and it's so hard to say that. But, you know, as I've gotten older, I've lost friends and family, and my dad's brother and sister are gone, and my dad's brother was such a special guy. When I was a little kid, he played with me a lot, and there's pictures of him playing with me and brought me presents, and such a neat guy. And when he passed away, I don't know how many years ago, 4, 5, 6 years ago, it was so shocking, and my brothers and I, we got on Skype, me and my two brothers, and he had a favorite drink, and we all poured a drink in our respective homes via Skype, and we toasted our uncle and had a cigar together, and it was really, really special. But he died so suddenly. It wasn't like someone dying of a terminal illness over a period of months. It was just sudden. And man, you can't prepare for that. So just love the people who are in your life. Kids, reach out to you got kids, reach out to them. I don't care what they did. I don't care if they're in jail. I don't care if they're CEOs. Love them. Love your mom and dad. Seek to build bridges to your family. They are the only thing you have. They really are. A knife is this is a buck assisted. It's like a kind of a skeleton frame knife, assisted opening. I just love this, where it just bam comes open. I'm a knife guy. I have a lot of knives. I've always had a knife clipped to my belt. I can't remember a time when I didn't. Everything for people say, why do you carry a knife? As if my vigilance is misguided or something. Cut an apple. Cut something. Open things. And a feeling of safety, because I know how to use it too. Not only in culinary aspects, but if something got down and dirty, I would feel sorry for anyone who approaches me. Another thing I love Zippos. This is Rolling Thunder tires. It's vintage. This is probably 45 to 50 years old. And it has a pipe insert. See that little hole? It's windproof. That way that flame comes through the hole and lights the pipe rather than burning up the briar. And there's something about the noise that it makes. The opening, the flicking, it's kind of neat. And I always take all my ashtrays and I put like a cork knocker in the middle of them so I can whack my pipe on it to clean it out. In one of the books that I wrote, I talk about, I have a section called It Smelled Like 6 o'clock. When I was growing up in a neighborhood, all the men after dinner would go out on their front steps and have a cigar. You could go out my front door, look to the left, and there was a guy smoking the cigar. Look to my right, and there was a guy smoking the cigar on his front step. And it was like clockwork. 6 o'clock, the smell of cigars. Good cigars, not cheap junk. Good cigars in the neighborhood. So it smelled like 6 o'clock. When I knew it was 6 o'clock, I just smelled this beautiful tobacco, cigar smell in the air. You could look at your watch and go, yep, right on time. That was kind of neat. That's getting ready for a flick. My grandfather, I have an Italian family, always had a cigar in his mouth. Always. Mowing the lawn, cigar. Working in his workshop, cigar. Even if it wasn't lit, it was in his mouth. My neighbors, same thing. Always a cigar. But you know those guys that always have the old guys. You don't see a lot of it these days. The guys with the cigar on the side of their mouth, it's kind of like that. I'm not one of those guys. It just feels weird to have it like in the side of your mouth. I haven't had a cigar in a few months, so this is really good. It's also a great mosquito repellent as well. Here we are in mid-June. A little Bic lighter here. American flag on it. I love my country. You love your country if you're watching from another country. This is Beards Without Borders, man. And we're about peace. I don't care where you're from. If you have a beard, I'll reach out to you and I ask for your peace, and you have my peace. Let's be committed to peace in the world. Something as simple as this. I could be walking down the sidewalk and somebody from another country, doesn't matter where that country is, if they have a beard, my eyes meet. You know, the joke is I make beard contact before I make eye contact. And we nod or point to each other's beards or a little smile kind of thing. And we might speak two different languages, but the language of this is universal. Because it doesn't matter where a man is from, he knows this takes patience. Beards without borders. It's a way of life, it's a way of peace. And I reach out to all of you in peace. Smelled like 6 o'clock. Never forget that. I'll never forget the jingling of ice and the glowing cigar with my dad. Precious. He doesn't smoke now because he beat cancer twice, but it wasn't lung cancer or oral cancer. It was in his bladder. So he won't smoke anything now. I will. So I'm sensitive to that in him. That's his choice because he smoked my whole life. My father smoked cigars and cigarettes and pipes. It's my favorite time of year right now. It's cool right now. It was hot today. Did a lot of work. Converted a book that I wrote in 2003. I converted it to a new format, and I uploaded it to an ebook site, which I'm going to be promoting probably within the week, and it's for artists. Are you a writer? Are you artistic? Do you have any artistic abilities? Do you make things? Do you have a shop? Do you make pipes? Do you sew? Do you create anything? Art or any kind of handiwork? Is that part of your life? You know, a lot of times getting away and doing something like that is good. Wood carving is good. I know guys that, I love walking sticks, and I would like to be able to get into walking sticks again. That's kind of a neat thing. I have like this idea of making a walking stick where the head of the stick is like a like a face, almost like a meerschaum, you know, like a bearded sea captain kind of thing, where you would attach a pipe stem, and at the top, it's drilled out to put tobacco in. So, you know, you could be taking a walk with your walking stick, you find a park bench, you sit down, you attach the stem, and then you kind of like smoke the pipe. Strange, but I think it'd be kind of cool. Like, it would have to be like a real hardwood, otherwise the whole thing would burst into flames. Maybe like a pear wood. Apparently pear root and pear wood is very hard. I know Mr. Brog, B-R-O-G, Mr. Brog, it's kind of like the, well, what's the pipe in the States here that everybody, Dr. Grabo. Mr. Brog is kind of like the Dr. Grabo of Poland, and they sell their pipes here in the States. I'm sure they're available worldwide, but they're very nice, made out of pear wood. Not every great pipe is made out of briar. Some are made out of various fruit woods, olive wood. I always remember my grandfather always just like getting a piece of tobacco in his mouth and just like spitting it all the time. That was always funny. Now we're at the point where I'm getting to the band, and I'll take my knife. I find like where the band is attached, I don't need the knife. And I'll smoke it down. My grandfather was so thrifty, he would smoke a cigar till it was like an inch, and because he felt it was a waste. I come from a family of immigrants. God bless immigrants who try new things and pack a suitcase and go somewhere else for opportunity, and not for giveaways, but for opportunity. It's incredible. God bless all immigrants. He would take that 1 inch left of a cigar and put it in a pipe and then smoke the rest of it. I love that. I'm really enjoying this. Watching the nature. The birds are on the deck watching me right now. They're like, what is he doing, man? That's so funny. I've gotten into birds in the past 10 years. When I was married, I put out bird feeders, and I was into identifying birds and had binoculars and all that stuff. And then now I've been divorced for 12 years, and it's been fun, just communing with nature. Don't always have to be around people. Sometimes people would say, "Are you going out tonight?" I'm like, hell no. I enjoy time by myself. I enjoy quiet. The ice jingling. So I'm going to make a video about S curls, C curls, and coil curls. And do that on a whiteboard, kind of like an instructional thing. Kind of a motivational message for beard guys. You know, there's a lot of great beard videos. The Beard Baron, like the guy, he seems like he's mild-mannered. I watch all the same stuff that you do. Beard Baron is really good. Very a gentle guy. He's a gentleman. I would call him a gentleman. My cats are watching me right now through the window. Or Eric Banholtz from Beard Brand, who I love his sense of humor, and he's got a quick sense of humor, and if you might have seen him on Shark Tank as well. God bless the entrepreneur. Heck, go for it, man. You got an idea? Go for it. Seriously, go for it. Everything you do is different than what I do. I slice an apple a certain way. You slice it a different way because of your DNA. Your twist on stuff, on doing things, procedurally, operations is different than mine. That's what makes you unique. You are unique. The way your beard is unique. Some people say, well, I aspire to be like you and like your beard. I get that. Be yourself. Be the best that you can possibly be. Acid cigar. This is the 1400 cc's. Enjoy this a lot. It's got a nice aroma. As far as a room note, I wouldn't know what the room note of this is because I never smoke in the house, ever. Always outside on a deck. I could be walking on the boardwalk at the Jersey Shore and pass a couple where a guy is like smoking a cigar, and I love the smell of the cigar smoke as I pass them. I've gotten to the point where I can almost pick out the brand and the vintage of the cigar. I might have told you the story before. I was walking down the boardwalk, they call it the Promenade, in Sea Isle City, New Jersey, and my friend elbows me and says, "Cigar," and I pass the guy, and I get a whiff of the smoke, and it was heavenly. Heavenly. There's nothing like the smell of a good cigar. I turned around. I said to the guy, "Rocky Patel, vintage 1999. He stops, takes his cigar out of his mouth, looks at the band, and he looks at me and goes, "How did you know?" I just gave him a thumbs up. My roommate, I have a female roommate, she looks at me, she says, "How did you know that?" I said, "I have a very sensitive sense of smell." I think my sense of smell is more keen than my sense of sight, as I've had to get a new eyeglass prescription about every 2 years, but they say that by 60 your eyes have kind of settled into the vision that you're going to have for the rest of your life. This is the neat thing about cigars. I'm relaxed right now. If I did a scientific test where I took my blood pressure before I lit the cigar and now, it's probably 10 points lower because I'm relaxed. It's not because of the chemical relaxation, it's because I'm focused. I'm watching the smoke disappear. I'm very focused. I'm not thinking about problems. I'm not thinking about debt or bills or goals or anything like that. I'm allowing my problems, any issues that I have, to just kind of like drift away. It's a great way to contemplate the day. And you don't have to inhale. I know guys who are inhalers have a hard time, but it's just a matter of practice, of puffing. And puffing in such a way where you're just like a big cigar becomes this big like in 5 minutes. Relax and enjoy it. Puff like maybe one puff every minute or so. And that's not even a science, just be natural with it. It's getting a little frayed on the ends, and that's all right. If you turn the cigar while it's in your mouth with some of your saliva, it'll seal up the ends as it kind of like unravels a little bit. And it makes it perfect. Make sure you like the videos. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you forward the videos to friends who are growing beards. Close friends and international friends. Remember, Beards Without Borders is about a life of peace. And I bid you peace, and I ask for peaceful responses. And I wish you peace, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from. I don't care if you're from West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, California, Ireland, England, Scotland, the Middle East. It doesn't matter. If you have a beard, then you know what this is all about. And all beards are handsome. They're all handsome. I don't care. You might say, well, I don't have a very good looking beard. I look at some of the comments. I don't have a very good looking beard. It's very patchy. It doesn't matter. Beards are handsome. It's one of the things that you appreciate. I have some friends that can hardly grow any facial hair at all. And the little bit that they have, it's handsome. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Everybody wants what they don't have, right? The curly hair women want straight hair. The straight hair women curl their hair in the mornings. The guys with no hair do what they can to make themselves look like they have hair. Here's another thing too. I started losing my hair, receding and thinning on the top when I was probably in my 20s, and I thought I was going to be bald by the time I was 40. I don't have a bad head of hair. I don't have a great head of hair, but it's not a bad head of hair. And it eventually stopped, and I'm happy. It turned white. If it ever got to the point where I was trying to make 3 hairs look like 5 hairs, or comb it in such a way where I'm trying to cover something up, then I know it would be time to just buzz it down. I'm not a shaved head guy, and I know there's a lot of shaved head guys out there, and I shave heads at work too. Oh, this is something I wanted to tell you. Here's a great story. A man who owned a machine shop, his machine stopped working, and he called a repairman. The repairman came, did something, and gave the guy a bill for $300. The owner looked at the bill and said, "My God, you were here just like a minute. All you did was take a hammer and hit it and adjust something, and I got a bill for $300. Well, the bill was itemized. $5 for tapping the hammer. $295 for knowing where to tap that hammer. Same thing with beard trimming. I do this for a living. I trim beards. I cut hair. I make people look handsome and beautiful, men and women. Firing up the clippers. That's the easy part. Knowing where to apply the clippers. That's where the talent is. That's what a true beardsmith is. I'm at the point now where people come from 10 states. People are flying into Philadelphia to get their hair cut and their beard trimmed by me. I can't even believe it. What do you do that's better than everyone else? You're going to make your most money doing something that you are good at. Did you hear me? You're going to make your most money doing something you're good at. Not something you're bad at, something you're good at. Coming to the end of the stogie here. My name is George Bruno, also known as the Sultan of Silver. You can find me on Instagram at George A. Bruno. On my Facebook page, George Bruno Luxury Hair Experience. My website, georgebruno.com, or cleansharpandhandsome.com. And the YouTube channel is Gray Bailey. Thank you for spending time with me. And I want you to know that I appreciate you, and thank you for that.